Welcome to Module 12. We are going to talk about cleaning. So all you clean freaks out there, get excited. This is your module. As always, that disclosure, I'm not a licensed attorney. I'm not even a professional cleaner. Not an accountant, financial advisor. I'm just here sharing my experiences with you. Cleaners will make or break your business, and I cannot emphasize that enough. It's tough. Hotel quality cleaning is a new beast, and this is something that everyone learns. We learned it as we started, and the more properties you add, the more you learn the lesson. How to coordinate with your cleaners, cleaning supplies, how to get it clean, the scheduling, it all becomes very complicated. How will you coordinate when to clean? So this is a great, you don't want to have to call your cleaner. You don't, every time you get a booking, you don't want to text them. You don't want to have to call them. You don't want to have to remind them. You need software in place. So there's some softwares that I'm going to go over. There's a co-host feature where you can add somebody to your calendar specifically on Airbnb. It's their own Airbnb profile. They don't have your email and login and passwords. It's their own thing that you can add somebody as a co-host, and then they can see your calendar. That's a super easy, free way to do it. In this case, free is valuable. You can also, there's an iCal link, and depending on your technical background, that might sound confusing. You can Google iCalendar, and you can actually add calendars. So in this case, Airbnb, your booking calendar, to automatically update a different calendar, like your Google Calendar. And it's a copy paste of a link. Have somebody help you do it. Do a little bit of Google, YouTube. You can figure that one out yourself. Cleaning between check-out and check-in is tough, because if you're regularly booked 80 to 90% of the time, our checkout window is from 10 a.m. is when they should be out, and 4 p.m. is when they should be in. That being said, we as a management company have seen early check-in and late check-out as a money-making opportunity. So sometimes we have people checking out. We charge them for late and early ins and outs. So sometimes we have an even smaller window. So we'll have from like 11 to 3 to get it cleaned. So you really need to have adequate staff, and you need to have enough linens, because from 11 to 3 is not enough time to do 3 loads of laundry. And you don't want to be doing that. So buy extra linens. We do triple linens for all of our beds. So 1 for the bed, 1 on the shelf, and 1 in the wash. Having triple also allows that if something disastrous happens, let's say your cleaner gets deathly ill, is in the hospital, we've had this happen, and that's okay. You want to plan for these things. Plan for the human element. We're not crazy consistent. We're not software. Plan for that. So if your cleaner's in the hospital and they have the sheets in their laundry machine, there is an extra set of sheets that are clean on the bed, and you can get somebody else in there to clean it and use those. So having at least 3 is a minimum in my book. How is laundry handled? You want to ask your cleaner, if you're getting a professional cleaner, how they do that. Do they do it at the property, or are they using your water? Do they at home? Do they provide their own laundry detergent? Are you supposed to provide that? All of it's negotiable. It's however you want to do it. We require our cleaners, the way we work it as a property management company is we currently have 7 small businesses working for us. And it's a lot of coordination. A lot of it's done through software, and all of them are in charge of all of their own cleaning supplies, because in my book, cleaners are professionals, keep aces in their places. I don't want to tell them what materials they need to use to clean. If they use Pine Sol, great. If they use bleach, if they use a chemical I don't know the name of, great. That's fine with me. Okay, this is important too. What if they miss something? Okay, here's your story. A guest comes in, sees one black hair in the tub, white tub in a unit. And they say, the whole place is dirty. And it is, because other people's grime is disgusting. Nobody wants anyone else's grime. Your own house, hair in the sink, whatever, it's my hair, right? But other people's grime is disgusting. So in that situation, do you have the relationship with the cleaner, or do you have a contract with your cleaner that says, hey, if the guest finds anything legitimate, will you go back out there and clean it? Because at the end of the day, if I am a property owner and I'm on vacation, And so you need somebody else to go back to the property. So I would always suggest getting a cleaner with a cleaner guarantee that if anything's missed or messed up, they'll come back and fix it. Because then you don't get stuck in a hard position, even if you're managing your own unit. More on cleaners. Okay, these are some awesome, I'm not being compensated by any of these companies. I've used some of them, not all of them. I've known at least somebody who has used them. So they come highly recommended. Turnover B&B is number one for a reason. That is a software we have used. I currently use smartbnb.io, and it's been mentioned in other modules. We'll continue to mention it, not sponsored. That's what I use. I add them as a user, and so they can see the calendar through SmartBnB. The reason I do that over adding them as a co-host on Airbnb is because I list on multiple platforms. And if I just add them as a co-host on Airbnb, they wouldn't be able to see the bookings from Booking.com and VRBO. So using a third-party service allows them to see the full calendar. All of these help you to find cleaners and manage cleaners. Turnover B&B, you can actually just attach your listing to your Airbnb listing, and cleaners in the area will reach out and give you bids. They want your business. They want to clean your property, and it's very seamless. Payment transfers through them. Believe it or not, I've learned paying cleaners is one of the harder things in my life. One of the harder things we as a company have had to learn how to do. So I have a whole slide on it. Paying cleaners. So in the cleaning industry, and again, this is fascinating to me, because if you have a contractor, he typically knows how he wants to get paid. Right? He can take a check or PayPal or he can take your credit card. They typically have something set up. In the world of cleaners, it is not that way. And it's fascinating to me. They say, okay, how are you going to pay me? And I want to turn around every time and say, how do you accept payment? But it's culturally community-based. It's not that way. And that could be my area specifically. We do work in the West. Maybe East Coast is different. I'm not sure. Maybe internationally it's different. But this is what I've learned, so I'll share it. So limited payment types on the left side of the screen, you're going to see. Limited in the way that you are only allowed to transfer so much money at a time. So I don't remember the exact limits. I believe that Google Pay only allows you to transfer $1,500 a month total. So if that's $50 a handful of times, or if that's one $1,500 charge. But if you're doing a lot of business, you're going to max out on all of these. I have. We have, as we have grown. Unlimited payment types on the right side of the screen shows places that you can use. You can pay people as much money as you want on PayPal, on cash, just writing them a check. There's no limit to how much money you can transfer in a certain time period, but some of these are paid. So I pay a subscription to Bill.com, not sponsored, and I use them as some of my accounting services. My accountant suggested that to me. Talk to your accountants, talk to professionals, and see what works best for you, but that's a tool that we have very, very much enjoyed. That's how we pay out our owners through our management company and our cleaners. And it allows, it's the only thing that I found that's allowed for a 2-day payment window. So if a cleaner, we pay all of our cleaners immediately because it's a way we can add value for free. So as opposed to being paid monthly, every time they clean, 2-3 days later, depending on weekends, of course, they get the money in their account, which is awesome. PayPal is a great option, but I have had mediocre experience with them, so I always want to share my experience with you. If for some reason they mark a transaction as spam, they have the ability to put a hold on your account, and all funds currently being transferred, they can hold in one of their accounts for 6 months. I had $13,000 held by PayPal for 6 months, and that was hard for me.
Oh, yeah.
So I want to share my experience. I probably could have done more. I probably could have contacted legal counsel, but I always want to share my experience with you guys.
How is I'm curious about this because I haven't had that experience, at least not yet. Those types of things tend to happen to me just because I'm doing so many transactions. But yeah. How does a payment, an exchange of money, be considered spam?
You're like, I don't know, you tell me. I should have recorded my contact with member services. Yeah. It depends on the company's algorithm. So it's anything out of the ordinary. So they're always watching out for it. They're doing their best to protect from money laundering and transferring massive amounts of money for seemingly no reason. So if you just opened an account, just think about a bank. If you just opened a credit card and suddenly you run it right up to the limit, you're probably going to call from your bank saying like, hey, is this legit? What's going on? I don't understand. Because they have their algorithms to kind of anticipate what's normal and what's not. So the particular experience we had, our business PayPal account regularly did smaller transactions, and then all of a sudden it did a larger transaction, and they marked it as spam. And so if you start out, I don't know their algorithm. So a concern
is fraud or money laundering or something illegal.
And they're doing their best to prevent from those things, but if you trip the algorithm, you've tripped the algorithm. And
don't go tripping algorithms.
You're kind of out. So I didn't love that experience, and so I've upgraded, and that was a free service, and sometimes you get what you pay for, and now I use a paid service, and it's worth every penny.
Yep.
And nothing against PayPal. It's a great platform. Like, I check out on eBay using PayPal still, personally. But from a business perspective, it didn't fit my needs, so I found something that did.
I really like... Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Go ahead.
I really like... I've been using PayPal a lot, and because I use the speed banking strategy.
Yeah.
So I don't carry a lot of cash. I usually don't have, money in my checking account. I work out of lines of credit.
Yeah.
And if you don't know what that is, check out the speed banking class. But it sometimes contractors, I think on the cleaning side, when I clean houses, for whether if I'm going to list it, if it's a fix and flip, or if I'm listing it as a rental, or in the case of the air cash flow strategy, usually cleaners have been pretty good, like you said, about accepting all different types of payment. Contractors, on the other hand, when you tell them you want to pay with credit card, they look at you like they've never heard of that before, right? They're like, you want to do what?
Yeah.
So PayPal's been a great tool for that, because it's kind of that social middle ground of, you're a service provider, I'm a customer, and I want to pay you with a credit card. Here's a great tool for that. But it's not just PayPal. I mean, Bill.com, I've never used it, but it sounds like you're pretty happy with it.
I'm very happy with it.
And like Lauren said, we're not sponsored by any of these people, but these are some awesome tools that you can go out and start using right away.
Yeah, and when you're not a financial guru or a payment transfer guru breaking into this, looking into all the limits on everything, it just gets sticky. So I'm like, hey, let's just throw a slide on it. If it's technical, skip it. But if it is of service to anyone, I'm happy to provide my experience. That is interesting. So you haven't struggled paying cleaners after they have flipped properties, like post-construction cleaners?
They've been pretty. I find that cleaners are more open to the idea of a credit card than contractors are.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
I could definitely see that. Cool.
More prepared for it anyway, right?
Yeah, and it all depends on your market, your individuals you're working with, your team. Build a good team. Okay, short-term rental cleaning. Okay, this is where I get nerdy. You ready? Cleaning is different in every aspect of how you're cleaning. So short-term rental cleaning is about dust, hair, and crumbs. And occasionally bigger messes, but mainly that, and it's about cleaning really quickly because you got to get it done between checkout and in. For our unit specifically, the average guest stay is less than 5 days. In that time, the place doesn't get filthy, you don't get dust bunnies under the couch. It's about making it look like the last guests were never there. Because other people's grime is disgusting, and I have a whole slide on it. So we find other people's stuff disgusting. If you enter a property and there's a fingernail in the sink, please cringe. This is disgusting. Hair in the sink. It's not clean. And suddenly the whole place is clean. If it was all sanitized, like we're talking hospital quality sanitization, and there's one fingernail, technically the place is not dirty. It's sanitized, but there is something in which creates an emotional response that makes the guest think that it is dirty. And you need to have that perspective, because otherwise you will get defensive. They message you and say, hey, this is a picture of a hair in a sink. And you look at it and you're like, oh, that's my cleaner's hair. Yeah, she has dark hair. That must be it. The place is still clean, but you have to cater to their perspective. It's all about that. And you want a clean guarantee so they can come back and fix it. You want to talk to the guest as if they're having an emotional crisis, because they are. And that's okay. You just have to know that when you get it, it's not the place isn't really clean. Nobody lied to you. Your cleaner didn't lie. It's a guest perspective, but you should honor it because it is their perspective, and you would be the same. I'm telling you. this is our cleaning bucket for our company. This is what most of our cleaners carry. I let each cleaner carry whatever they want. We do have an article on our website, so home-havens.com, home-havens.com, however you want to say it. There's blog posts there. There's lots of resources. There is a specific blog article called Supplies for a Squeaky Clean Airbnb, and it lists the exact links of the things that we have. This is just the beginning of the article. It's very in-depth. White distilled vinegar is amazing. It's so good at getting hard water spots on chrome. So your water fixture, things like that, you have to get those looking spick and span for years. And it's a great tool to do that.
Stainless steel appliances show water spots.
Yes. We
really
use
bad.
Weitzman's is the name of the brand. It's a stainless steel cleaner, and we found a little bit goes a long way. And it's great. That's linked in here as well. It's easy. You order it on Amazon. They have it at Target, Walmart. Pumice stones work really well for a lot of things. One thing I have not figured out is how to quickly clean ovens. Like without running a full oven cycle if somebody burns something to the bottom. So I'm going to put a reward on that. If somebody reaches out, the first person to reach out to me with a solution that works, I will Venmo you $20.
Hey,
contact me via my website.
I'm going to start researching.
I know. It's probably worth my $20. Should be like, hey, come on, this is my secrets here. This is tricks of the trade. A flat scrub brush. And that might sound like a silly thing, but if you can't get a carpet cleaner in there that day, flat scrub brushes are amazing. A little bit of carpet cleaner, a flat scrub brush, you can get Cheeto dust out. And Cheeto dust and Kool-Aid are hard. Those are hard to get out.
I'm trying to picture what you're talking about.
So...
like with the dish cleaning brushes, those types of brushes?
That type of brush. So like a dish cleaning brush, but they're flat. So the surface area of the scrubby little hairs that stick down is fairly large, and there's like a handle on the top of it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so it's just a big surface area of scrubbiness, if you will.
Cool.
Yeah, and I know and again, if this audio is just not doing it for you as far as the visuals, go on the website, click the links, they're all there for you. Laundry. Okay, everybody, these are good. White's white. So white sheets are the easiest. White towels, white sheets, white everything is the easiest thing to keep clean. And so many people say that's counterintuitive. Gray's easier. Gray hides things. And I'm going to tell you that that's not true. So laundry. To keep whites white, we use this chemical. It's called sodium peroxide. Click the link. Get the right stuff. It's on Amazon. And it is basically what it is OxyClean. If you're not sponsored by anyone, if you're familiar with OxyClean, it is the special chemical in OxyClean. So OxyClean is like half baking soda, like the stuff in your kitchen, and half of this chemical. So you can buy this chemical, just this chemical, use less of it than OxyClean with the same results or better. So we've gotten out makeup, tar, coffee, cigarette, nastiness, without scrubbing, which is huge. So if you have white sheets at your house, get some. It's hugely helpful. I'm going to zip back here and talk a little bit briefly about white sheets. There is a chemical it's called retinol. And so many people use it. There are a lot of teens that use it for acne. And then it's in almost every anti-aging beauty product, which almost every female uses at this point. And it actually bleaches colored sheets. And you can't dye back a colored sheet that got bleached, but you can bleach back and correct a white sheet that was colored by makeup or lipstick or coffee or tar or whatever. So that's the reason why white sheets are easier to keep clean as opposed to colored sheets. And we will dive into that a little bit more in the next unit as we wrap up. Next unit's furnishing a unit. Get excited for our next module. That wraps up module 12, and I cannot wait to see you in module 13.
So